I want you to change the world, and don't think that this is going to happen peacefully or you can do it alone. We need to kill the rich. You get out there, you use your weapons, and you rip Washington apart. You hunt down the billionaires, the bank bosses, the CEOs, the scumbags and the liars, the governors, the lobbyists, the senators, because they're all the same, and you hang them.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just barely afternoon. It feels like I've been up for a long-ass time. Anyway, it's still 4:25, and man, I know I've busted a bunch of them out today, but here's something new to talk about. I didn't know this was going on, and thanks to Beta Talk 357, I do now. And you know some shit is about to go down when Israel starts drafting those crazy motherfuckers with the curls coming down the sides of their face and the big-ass beards, dressed in black, or like that. I mean, those people are their most cherished. You wouldn't believe the sick-ass beliefs these people have. Here's one example, just to give you a little taste. Apparently, when a baby is circumcised, the rabbi will suck the blood from the baby's penis. How fucking lovely, isn't it? Man, I don't know how anyone could say a culture like that is good. I know, I'm a fucking, anti-Semite, right? Because I said that? Well, you know, maybe you could stop sucking baby penis and among other things, and we could talk. But somehow I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think that the Jewish people are going to give up their ways. They've been taught from cradle to grave that they are the ultimate victims and can do no wrong. But I digress. Several hundred ultra-Orthodox Jews clashed with police as they demonstrated in Jerusalem on Sunday to protest against a court ruling last week that rejected cassette legislation deferring the mandatory conscription of Hardim into the IDF, or Israeli Defense Forces. Police reacted violently as they tried to disperse them, with several videos showing officers beating, punching, kicking, and dragging demonstrators along the ground. The police Internal Investigations Division opened a probe into alleged use of excessive force by officers, Channel 2 News reported Sunday evening. And of course, if they're anything like America, fucking police will get away with whatever they're doing. I think they are a lot like America in many ways, especially in its imperialistic ways. At least 2 protesters were injured, with one of them, a 16-year-old, in moderate and stable condition, suffering from head injury and internal bleeding. I'm not going to even... Hadassah Hospital, Ian Kerms said. I don't know if I pronounced that shit right, but I'll go with it. The second youth was lightly wounded, the hospital said. Police said 7 officers were hurt. Oh, boo-hoo, poor babies. But gave no details on their condition. The demonstration in May Shaharim, an ultra-Orthodox neighborhood of the city, was organized by the hardline group Ida Haredit again, I'm probably butchering these names, after the arrest of a relative of a prominent rabbi who did not appear for a draft summons. Oh, shit. You know when they start punishing motherfuckers for it, something is in the works. They want these guys in there for a reason. We're Jews and therefore will not enlist in the Zionist army, read banners held by several protesters. Well, I think there's a little cognitive dissonance going on there, fellas, because you live there. If you didn't approve, why the fuck are you in Israel? Okay. So, you heard that. We're Jews and therefore will not enlist in the Zionist army. Demonstrators brought traffic in the capital to a standstill by blocking the Israeli thoroughfare. Officers were met with violence when they tried to clear the protesters, including a barrage of rock throwing, police said in a statement. Got more balls than the American people. 8 demonstrators were arrested, police said. Police used water cannons and horse-mounted officers to try and disperse the crowd. Anyway, like I said, when they start drafting these Orthodox and ultra-Orthodox people into their defense, not defense, it's nothing defense about the IDF, Israeli Defense Forces. It's all about force. It's not defense. Other footage showed officers forcefully throwing protesters to the ground and punching and kicking them while they were being held down. Sounds just like American police. Police in response that they would be investigating all incidents of violence, both towards and by police officers. Last week's High Court decision struck down a law exempting ultra-Orthodox men engaging in religious study from military service, saying it undermines equality. The decision raises the possibility that they could be forced into service, a highly contentious proposition with political implications. However, the court suspended its decision for 1 year to allow for preparations for a new arrangement, which also provides the government with the opportunity to pass a new law. Ultra-Orthodox political parties holding key positions in the ruling coalition are likely to draft new legislation that could seek to override the court ruling and keep the exemption in place. The issue is part of a decades-old debate over whether young ultra-Orthodox men studying at, I'm not trying it, I imagine it's a religious school there, should undergo compulsory military service like the rest of Israel's Jewish population. I mean, yeah. After reaching the age of 18, men must serve for 32 months and women must serve for 24. Ultra-Orthodox seminary students have been largely exempt from Israel's military draft since then Defense Minister David Ben-Gurion exempted 400 students from service in 1949 on the grounds that their students are their craft. Or their studies, damn it. Their studies are their craft. Exceptional young artists and athletes are often granted exemptions by the defense minister on the grounds that 2 or 3 years of military service could hold them back drastically. Oh, shit. No, not now. Okay. The ultra-Orthodox oppose serving for a variety of reasons, with the most extreme belief a Jewish state is not allowed before the coming of the Messiah. Others argue that study of religious texts is just as important to Israel as military service, or that Orthodox soldiers would be confronted with irreligious behavior. As far as I can see, the little excerpts I've read from the Talmud, I don't see how they can say that. I mean, irreligious behavior is exactly what is recommended by the Talmud. Yep. That don't mix there. The court decision drew instant condemnation from ultra-Orthodox leaders and sparked a number of protests opposing the move. On Friday, an ultra-Orthodox IDF soldier was attacked by residents of that neighborhood, again I can't pronounce and will not even try, in Jerusalem, that was only extracted there after police were called to the scene. According to the police, the soldiers entered a store in the neighborhood, which is located north of the ultra-Orthodox neighborhood. A crowd gathered by the store, yelling slogans against the soldier, and against service in the IDF. Well, one thing I've said that if I were a leader of a big-ass group, I would make combat a #1 priority for everybody, and not for nationalist reasons, for just the opposite. It would make everyone physically strong. It would make them mentally strong. Everyone would be on the same footing and have that in common. That would unite the people of that group. That's my reasoning. Israel's reasoning is a whole lot more sinister than that, I guarantee. Anyway, thought I'd share this with you. Thank you, Beta, for the little topic tip. Be well, everyone. Kill the state before the state kills you.